What is happening, people? Welcome back to Hay Arquero, second episode. I'm your host, Guillermo. I'm joined by my co-host, Vicente and Jordy. Today we're going to be talking about, Premier League, La Liga, Champions League, a couple Clásicos. You know how it is. So without further ado, let's get straight into Champions League. Jordy, what did you think about this week in these matches?
Man, a lot happened this weekend, with Prem and the title race. The title race is as spicy as it's ever been. A lot happened in Liga MX. We had the Monterrey Tigres game. We had, the Dynamo getting a big win away at Minnesota. But most importantly, we had Champions League second leg on Tuesday and Wednesday. But yesterday, let's get started with Tuesday's matches, man. We had Barca PSG. Now, guys, we made some predictions last week that we need to address. Okay,
we got cooked by your predictions.
I personally went 0 for 4. I went 0 for 4. Guillermo, what was your overall?
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
0 for 4 as well.
I think you did
Bayern right. I got Bayern right. I'm a little proud, but yeah. We
Yeah,
got cooked
it
by
wasn't
those
good, but yeah,
predictions.
Barca PSG. I mean, it looked so good. I mean, listen, PSG came out pressing from the start, right? It was obvious that they were going to come pressing, but they weren't creating anything. They were just pressing, but I didn't feel them, being in dangerous situations. Rafinha gets the goal. Lamine with a beautiful, beautiful play down the wing. I mean, and Rafinha shut me up completely. Both of these legs, he was phenomenal both legs. And then the red card, everything just falls apart, Vicente. Everything
Yeah,
just fell apart.
it's devastating. It's devastating to see that you play the first leg that it's so good. You are composed. You're almost there. It almost feels like you are about to play a semifinals, a Champions League in so many years, and then out of one bad pass, you have to track back, and you obviously foul the player. And to me, if it's a foul, it's a red. I don't think the red is an argument.
Right.
Now we can discuss whether it was a foul or not. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, honestly, like, I got a whole, like, topic about that, Like, it's just, when that happened in that moment, how Jordy said we were getting pressed. We were like, bro, we just looked good on defense, man. Like, we looked locked up. And then Araujo starts striking back. In my opinion, he should not be fouling. I understand what he did. He's trying to put a body on him. He ends up extending his arm, dragging him down, but he should not be fouling him. If he wants to argue that he wasn't last man, he was. It was a clear
Yeah.
chance to score.
Like I said, if it's a foul, it's a red, and it's pretty sad that it happened that way. And obviously, you go down that I thought it was a PK, but it ended up being a free kick. They don't score off that, but then you have a PSG team that already had control of the game, but now has that motivation that hey, I'm playing with 11, they're playing with 10. It's my time. Like I have to do something.
Yeah, Barcelona,
And
man, that,
out of all the players, Dembele scores.
of course.
Yeah,
again.
I mean he shut us Barca fans up. I mean all the noise that they were making the day before at the hotel with the fireworks and everything, all these chants, the dollar bills with Dembele's face on them and the pigs and everything, and
Yeah, it's
it's
just
gonna backfire.
he is the kind of player that is fired off that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also read on Twitter people saying, hey, instead of doing all that, just clap for him because he's gonna play bad.
Yeah.
Like the more
Yeah.
comfortable he is,
Yeah,
the
to feel to
worse
the
he
fire.
plays. But he was fired over the pressure, and I mean he's a baller. I do have to recognize that.
Yeah.
He makes some bad mistakes sometimes, but he's a great player. However, I want to focus on managers, and before we start doing our managers ratings, we'll be doing that for the second leg and obviously the entire series. I want to talk about Luis Enrique
Okay.
because Xavi, we can talk about him later, but Luis Enrique understood that the mistakes he made. He knew that he made mistakes in the starting 11 from the first leg, and then learned from that and transitioned, went to Barcelona and made changes. And he controlled the game prior to Barcelona's goal, and he controlled the game afterwards. Obviously, we all know that the red card is a big variable here, but he controlled the match.
Yeah, he definitely did control the match, but it was a little bit of everything. The red card, and then Lucho with his experience, he's telling these players, "No, you get a goal. You gotta get a goal before the half. You gotta press. You gotta do this." And the Barcelona players can only hope for that halftime whistle to blow so they can reassess the situation. Which, by the way, I saw this thing that Frankie said that Xavi wasn't being as persistent as he should have been in that halftime locker room, which raises questions about Xavi himself. But like you said, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. In terms of possession, we have Barcelona with 32% of possession and then 68% for PSG. Obviously they control the match, but you get to those last minutes, and as a Barca fan, I don't know if that's just me being hopeful, but I still felt like we had a chance to at least tie the series and go to overtime. I did think that if we would have gone to overtime, we would have lost the series because they had fresh legs, and they're playing with one more man, but we had chances. Even there's people who said that we play better with 10 men than with 11.
Yeah, it just comes down to player mentality. Like as soon as Araujo got that red card, arguably the leader of this team, not even arguably at this point, everything just fumbled. Like even big names like Lewandowski, like that one chance he had at the end, he could have just passed to Joao.
Yeah, 3v1.
Yeah.
It was like three guys on level. He had to sweat across, and
Joao Felix was open in the other side.
Joao Felix is screaming, man.
That was frustrating.
Right here.
Yeah,
that was unfortunate.
Now,
but speaking of,
okay,
go
ahead. Go ahead.
Speaking of player mentality, I mean, did you guys see Gundogan's interview after the game? Talking about how, hey, I don't know if it was a red or not, but we didn't show up, and I think that speaks a lot about him as a player, and it was refreshing to see someone on Barca not make an excuse or anything. So I think that was a good post interview.
Yeah, as a Barca fan, I've been demanding a player to have that mentality in the roster because I've had enough of player sending the message that it's next year. Next year will be your year. I want someone to demand players like, hey, you made a mistake. You gotta earn up to your mistake and understand there's no going back, but you need to learn from this. And I'm glad he has that perspective and that point of view. However, I do disagree in the way he did it. I think this type of messages, you send them inside the locker room and not in front of the camera, especially when you're playing a Clasico in Madrid next weekend.
Yeah.
Again, we'll get to that later on in the episode, but I do want to proceed to talk about something about Xavi. You get a red card. I think it was in the 30th something minute or the 28th minute. Yeah. What would you guys have done differently if you're Xavi? Would you have done something differently?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not about me trying to be or me being Xavi in terms of wanting to do something differently and tactically, but Xavi just needs to pull his head. That's really what it is, and that just goes with inexperience. A lot goes into that. Personally, I've seen a lot of people, debating that they shouldn't have taken out Lamine Yamal after that red card. But at the moment, I thought that it was the correct call, given the situation, given the players on the field and their experience and stuff like that. But in the long term of it, maybe it would have been better if he would have subbed out somebody else.
I feel like I would have liked to see a back line of 5 earlier in the game. I did think that bringing Íñigo Martinez for Lamine Yamal is a correct call, but I would have liked to see either Hector Fort or Fermin come in and play with a 5-3-1 and kind of drop, because at the end of the day you knew that you were gonna have to defend, kind of park the boss, and I would have liked to see a line of 5 earlier in the game. Definitely. I think that you protect the lines, the wings with the Melee and Barcola. Also, Hakimi played this game, which was a big variable this time. But I would have liked to see a backline of 5.
Then the moment Araujo got that red card, the perfect sub would have been Christensen.
Yeah,
he was not there because of yellows.
Stuff.
But absolutely not.
Now to conclude this sad talk about Barcelona. Let's do our ratings. Let's do our ratings for managers in the whole series to make sure we're not rating Luis Enrique and Xavi based on the second leg. We're rating them for the entire series. Let's start with Jordy.
Yeah, I think Xavi, I think I would go with a 6. A lot of the second leg isn't really his fault. Yes, he had the tantrum, and yes, he could have maybe controlled himself a little bit better in that second leg, but it's not really his fault, I feel like, here. And I think in the first leg, he showed what he can do with this team. So I would give him. I can't give him any more than a 7. Obviously, he didn't win the game, right?
Yeah.
It's just the truth. It's just the reality. So I'd give him. Let's go with a 6.5. I'd give
6.5?
Xavi a 6.5.
How about you?
I was planning on giving Xavi a 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you're failing.
I am failing Xavi. I think he's bigger than this. I think that he should not be making these mistakes. I love what you said, though. I love how you said that the first leg was a perfect example of how he can use this team,
Yeah.
and he showed that.
Yeah.
And that's why he showed his caliber. He showed that he can do this, and he basically just that tantrum in the 30th minute in the Champions League. Where you have a chance, you should not be doing that.
Yeah, I'll give the Xavi a 5. I would have given him a 6, but I got pretty mad with the red card because it was early in the match, and you are the messenger of the team. You are the person who is supposed to look at your plays and show composure, and he did not. And this is not the first time he has done that throughout the season. He's been getting a lot of yellow cards, and it's just frustrating. Like, I want a manager. Like, when I looked at Luis Enrique on the other side, I saw someone who was calm, who understood that the game was going to be somehow played. And yes, you can get mad at the ref, but you need to stay calm. That's why I'm giving him a 5. Now, with Luis Enrique, like I said, he learned from his mistakes. I give him a 7. I'm not gonna give him like an 8 or 9. I give him a 7 because of the red card. Like I am one of those who believes that Barcelona would have been able to control the match with 11. So yeah, he won. He's gonna play semifinals, which I think they are favorites. But I don't give him more than a 7.
I'd give Lucho an 8 because I don't. I mean, the red card is obviously not his fault. I'm gonna give him an 8 because he was able to capitalize on that moment. He was able to turn around because even though they were pressing the entire game, Barcelona was controlling it. And Luis Enrique, with his experience, with his squad, he said, "Nah, we're gonna take this opportunity and we're gonna win with this." And he scored 4 goals away against Barcelona, which is not easy to do. So that's why I'm gonna give him an 8.
Yeah, I think I would also give him a. I think I'd give him a 7.5 as well.
Okay.
You can only play what's in front of you, like you guys have been saying. The red card, he took advantage of it. I guess the goals. I mean, the penalty. It's a silly penalty, and then on the corner with the Vitinha goal, I feel like Level should be stepping up there to cover the shot. So I think there are goals that are preventable. They're not like a masterclass either. So that's why I can't really give him anything higher than a 7.5.
If there was anything if there was something I didn't like from this match or from the post-match content that is created and so much talk there's out there, it's how Mbappe got like the spotlight after the match when he kind of
Ghosted?
he kind of ghosted. Like
Yeah.
He scored the penalty, which was given Dembele. Got
he's the best player in the world. I'm not saying anything like that. Like, he is a baller, but I think Dembele was far ahead
Oh yeah.
in the player ratings.
Yeah, I mean, not just player rating, but just sheer impact. Sheer impact on the team, sheer impact on fans, sheer impact on the entire game.
Yeah.
Dembele was the reason why they were able to turn around so quick.
There was. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was just gonna get straight into Dortmund.
Yeah, no,
Atletico.
same.
I was gonna say we have another game, and I feel like you were on the same boat with me here. There was another big game, that we also got wrong.
And
I thought
another-
Atletico was gonna pull this one out of the bag,
And-
knowing them.
Another Spanish fan base that is devastated because they had control. Obviously, Dortmund wins 5-4 in aggregate. It's a 4-2 result in Germany. Did you guys feel like they got scared after seeing that yellow wall?
Yeah, I think so. I said it last week, and then when we gave our predictions, I went back and I said let the goal pass. But if Simeone is walking into that game with 5 at the back, which he did, like staring at that yellow wall, they're losing the game. Like I instantly knew when I saw that lineup, when I saw that wall, that there was nothing. And damn, bro, like Dortmund just really knows how to capitalize on these moments of like lack of concentration for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Like they scored 4 goals, and the first 2 goals were like in the span of 5 minutes, and then the second 2 goals were also in the span of 5 minutes, and it was just lack of concentration from Atletico Madrid going into Borussia Dortmund. It's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean Dortmund's not gonna take on PSG in that semifinal. Sabitzer, I think my personal man of the match. I think a lot of people's man of the match for that game.
He's baller.
Class.
Yeah.
Honestly, baller.
Him
Absolute
and
baller.
Sancho as well. Both
Yeah, Sancho.
who went to Man United.
Yeah.
Man United now fighting for a conference league spot. And these guys are in the Champions League semifinals. Talks a lot about the manager and how a lot of players can transcend with different managers and they can be a lot better. It's not about who's in charge, but it's about the opportunities that you get. Because the more you play, the more likely you are going to succeed. You know.
Yeah, it's really rare to see Atletico not be able to defend the lead here. And Dortmund just were completely all over them, and yeah, not like Atletico at all.
It was a pretty even match though. Both legs. I watched them a lot. Like after the match ended, I watched the replay and the highlights as well, and it was a pretty even match. Possession was 51 Dortmund, 49 Atletico, so it was 50-50 basically, pretty even. And shots were 9-3 on target for 9 for Dortmund. I have to say that over the years, don't you guys feel like Simeone's defending tactics have gotten worse?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say they've gotten worse. I would just say the world of football has progressed. You know what I mean? Like those kinds of teams have been played with against them before, and they've been able to adapt and stuff like that. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say his tactics have gotten worse. I would just say football has gotten better.
Yeah, and honestly, shout out to Dortmund though, because people don't. I feel like people are underestimating them.
Yeah, we don't
They-
speak about them.
They came first in the death group. A
Yeah.
group that had Newcastle, AC Milan, a PSG, and them, and they came first. And now they're gonna play against
Yeah.
PSG in the semifinals. So it will be interesting to see what's ahead.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a lot closer than maybe people think, just because Dortmund is familiar with this matchup. They did matching groups already, so they have an understanding of Luis Enrique's system. So it won't be an easy match at all. It'll definitely be a close semifinal.
Okay, let's get to the point. How do we rate Simeone?
I'm gonna give him a 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass him, but I'm not gonna give him a better score than that because he should have gone to that game and shoot. That's a specialty. That's a specialty, and he couldn't even. Obviously, odds are against him and stuff. But the reason why I give him such a low score is just the Dortmund coach, man. Terzic or however you want to say.
Yeah,
his name.
Terzic.
His mentality, bro. His mentality of just constantly wanting to keep pushing forward and constantly wanting to take the lead and stuff like that, and players backing him. That's why, and I gave him a higher rating, but I'll release that when we're going with that. But what about you, Jordy? What do you give Cholo?
I'd give Cholo 4.5. I'm going under 5 just because I cannot stand how Atletico plays. And if you're gonna go out there and play like that, at least take care of misses. At least take care of misses like Real Madrid did, I guess.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna come out there and just do what you do as Atletico Madrid, you better make sure you get it done.
Yeah, although I'm a Barca fan, I would say that I'm a Simeone supporter. I understand his football tactics, and I kind of agree with him. You may not like it, but he has been effective, and he has changed the current history of Atletico Madrid, which is not a big thing. They are after Barcelona and Real Madrid, or Real Madrid or Barcelona, however you want to rank them to, Atletico comes later after that. So that's a big thing for me. I'll give him a 6, just because, like I said, I'm a Simeone supporter, so I don't want to fail him because I did feel like this could have been Atletico's chance to do big things, and I want to give a shout out though before we proceed with Terzic, to Matt Hummels. At 35 years old, he had a really good assist, and although he scored an own goal, he had a good composure and he played a really nice match. To Terzic, I would just give it a 7.
You'll give him a 7?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
mean,
it's just it was such a weird series that you had Atletico now on top, then the match starts and now you have Dortmund on top, and then Atletico goes on back again on top, and then you score 2 more goals. There was so much control and inconsistency that I give, like I said, Simeone a 6, Terzic a 7.
I'm getting Terzic a 9. I'm
Wow.
gonna give him a straight 9 because, well, first of all, I gotta give him credit for scoring on Atletico Madrid on the first leg. That's hard enough to do on its own. And then the match starts. They get on business. It's a pretty equal match, but just the goals about on Dortmund, like when I watch this Dortmund team play, I can maybe it's just the ambiance and the fans, but you can really like feel the passion. And every time we would get like a camera just pan towards the manager Terzic, he would just be like, "Oh, one more, keep going," and stuff like that, and that would just make an impact on the players. And it's a big thing, a decorated manager like Simeone in these kinds of situations with this experience. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, even if you're at home. But he did it, and now he's on to the next round.
Yeah, Terzic, I'm gonna give him a 7.5. He's come out with this team. With Adeyemi, with Sancho, with Sabitzer, with Adeyemi, and he's made these guys work for him, right? Work as in a good way. Like he makes them better. And I feel like Sancho, after the rough season or situation that he had at United, coming to Dortmund, Terzic has really been able to make him shine. And I'm happy for Sancho. So yeah, I'd give Terzic a 7.5.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough. Now let's move to Wednesday action, and we want to start big. We want to talk about Manchester City, and the first question that I have for you guys is: Manchester City loses this game or Madrid wins this series? Like, how do you guys see that? Because I feel like Manchester City lost the
They
series.
lost themselves. Like
Yeah.
they beat themselves.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they should not be losing this game. But I mean, Ancelotti, all credit to him, man. That's all I could say.
It's not pretty to watch. It's not pretty at all. It's just not pretty. But it happened.
It's the Champions
He made
League.
it work.
And, I've seen a lot of talk like, oh, how can Madrid fans be proud of that the way they play? They had 11 men inside the 18-yard box,
Yeah.
but you're in the semifinals.
Yeah.
I don't care if at the end of the year I'm lifting that trophy. I don't care
Yeah.
if the second leg at Manchester City, I'm playing with 11 men inside my box. I don't care.
It's Man City. At the end of the day, it's Man City, and it's how you have to play against them. I feel like.
And it's not like Madrid completely locked them out. City had chances. They got
Yeah, that KDB chance in the box first time. You
Yeah.
have to be scoring.
87 minutes. That was game.
Yeah, that was game. You have to be scoring that. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Haaland sub, bringing in Julian, for extra time?
I don't think it was a mistake to take out Holland.
Yeah,
But I feel like he could have made an impact in those penalties if he was there.
Yeah.
That is what I was
Also, another person who would have made a great impact in penalties is Kevin De Bruyne. I like you first asked about Haaland. I think it made sense. I would have liked to see him and Julian play together, but it made sense. He wasn't doing much, and Pep wanted Julian Alvarez, who is kind of like more like a false nine,
Yeah,
someone who
more
moves
creative.
around. He wanted to create that kind of chaos inside the box. He obviously wasn't able to do it, but it was a good call. But you're 9 minutes away from penalties, and you subbed off Kevin De Bruyne for Kovacic. Obviously, you want fresh legs in the midfield because I will say this: the second leg was all Manchester City, but the extra time, the 30 minutes of extra time, were pretty even. I will say even Madrid had better chances in the 30 minutes than Manchester City. So yeah, you want the fresh legs, but you're going to PKs, or you're most likely going to have PKs. Why do you take Kevin De Bruyne off?
Yeah. That's really like, and then the penalties that ended up hitting Lunin's hands, as I would say. Yeah.
But I think we gotta give a little bit of credit to Lunin here, right? I mean, it's not common for a goalkeeper to just stand there in a Champions League quarterfinal, penalty shootout, right? He had the balls to just stand there and then just guess right, and he guessed right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if Bernardo scores that, he's a hero. If he misses that, he's a horrible player. But we got to give a little bit of credit here to Lunin.
And it's crazy to think because I feel like people forgot that Real Madrid has what to me is the best player, the best goalkeeper in the world, which is Thibaut Courtois. He's obviously injured with a knee. He has a knee injury. He's out with that. But this guy, they brought Kepa from Chelsea, which to me is devastating. If you're a backup keeper and they bring someone, it's like, dude, like this final of a chance.
Yeah.
And he was able to win his spot and play in this game. And this is like this type of game that just says like, hey, I'm here. This is my goal. Like, this is my team. Like, Kepa, you can go back to Chelsea. Like, this is my team. Like, it's me.
Yeah, one of my friends told me that after Ederson took the pen, that Lunin should have just got the ball and took the last pen himself.
That would have been
He would have
pretty
just
awesome.
been like, "Oh, all right, Ben, you want to score a pen on me? Let me get this ball and score the winning one."
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk about Ederson's. That was a pass to the
Yeah,
net.
right?
Like he made he basically like a short pass inside the box, trying to
Yeah.
build out of the back. Like he just passed it to the net.
Passed it in the net.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Good pen.
I heard the commentator say, and Ederson's up for the next. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't believe that either. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Okay.
But how okay? So as we proceed to the manager ratings, how tough are we gonna be with Guardiola?
I mean, it's because like I'm not failing him.
Okay,
I'm not failing.
yeah,
him,
I don't think you can fail him.
but it definitely like should not be on like.
Yeah, you
over-
can't give him.
You can't be having 18 corners in a game when your opposing team has.
You want to know how many like total tries they had in the game?
how many?
33-8.
Oh my goodness.
33 times that you went forward and did something, but could only score one goal.
Now is that Madrid defense or is there a problem? with
That
City?
Madrid had played an extraordinary defense, and I want to give a shout out to a player that, as a Barca fan, I don't like him very much,
Oh,
but I have to say that when there is a big game, he responds every time, and that's Dani Carvajal.
oh,
Against Grealish, he totally locked him, and then against Doku, he did as much as he could
Yeah.
because you can't compete against Doku.
Doku, wow, he came on, was phenomenal. I mean, but speaking of fullbacks, Kyle Walker was great. I feel like
Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker is incredible at his age. Phenomenal. You know what him and Carvajal are doing at respectively at both their ages. It's unreal.
Yeah, Vinicius. Also, I want to talk. What do you guys think of Vinicius staying on the match and Ancelotti subbing off Rodrigo? Because I was
It's
surprised.
like it should have been the other way.
Yeah, same. I was like, is that the right call? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because Rodrigo definitely. I feel like at times I wanted, or at times I know that Rodrigo is like just playing better than Vinny, but I just feel like that goes into because Rodrigo is just a big name player in these kinds of situations, and then Vinny's more like of a, really in that like Madrid system, really bringing up the ball from the lines and stuff like that, breaking those lines. But in those kinds of situations, I do think you should have kept Rodrigo for those big game moments, but maybe you didn't think it was necessary. You rather keep the consistency over like trying to do something.
What's your rating for Guardiola?
Yeah. So for Pep, I'm gonna go for a 7. I think that Doku sub, he should have made it in the first leg. I talked about a little bit about it last week. I think Doku should have came on in the first leg as well, and we saw the impact that he had. And I feel like in the first leg he could have been brought on. Against Ancelotti's system, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle to score, but when you have 33 shots, you've got to do better, right? You've got to convert somehow, and yeah, I can't give him anything higher than a 7 for that reason.
Yeah, I give it a 6.5 because of this sub, the Kevin De Bruyne sub. It annoyed me. It's like, dude, he might be dying and cramping, but you only have 9 more minutes. Leave him on. He is definitely a better penalty taker than Kovacic.
Yeah.
Let him play. So that's why I take a half a point off. I was gonna give him a 7, but because of the De Bruyne sub, I give him a 6.5. Now Ancelotti, I'm not a Madrid fan at all. But man, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He can win his 5th Champions League.
He somehow gets it done every time.
Every
It just
time.
feels like he gets it done.
I give
As
him
much as I despise him, he gets it done.
I give him a 7.5. I still feel like Madrid could have done a little bit better offensively, like try to at least control portions of the game. Obviously, in England against Manchester City, you're not gonna take the ball away from Pep, but there's so many times of the games. If you watch the game and you start taking random screenshots, I feel like in the majority of them, you're gonna see 11 Madrid players inside the box, and he could have done a little bit better, but he got the win. He adapted to the game, which is a key thing. He knew that there was a point in the game where he had to defend and take the game to PKs, and that's what he did because that's the only way he could win.
Yeah, I mean, no, definitely. I think Ancelotti, deserves like a high rating. I'm giving him like an 8 because of the exact same thing. He gets it done. He simply gets it done. going away into City, which I feel like y'all are being too nice to Pep, bro. I'm giving him a 5.5 straight up.
Wow.
Yeah, because Pep, in my opinion, has no business losing this game. He has no business having his team get 33 attempts and have his only goal be a ricochet off of the keeper into De Bruyne's feet. Like, that should not be happening. He should be winning this game at home with his squad while Madrid stayed back. Because, yeah, they could stay back all they want. Just got to put the ball in the back of the net. And I feel like we got to be more harsh on Pep. I understand the Pep love, but in these kinds of situations, I want to see this kind of manager excel.
And that what is that? 2 Ancelotti, 1 Guardiola for the 3 times they have played against each other.
Yeah.
I think so. In the Champions League between City and Madrid, yeah. Madrid have won 2, City have won 1.
That's tough. That's a
Yeah.
tough one to digest.
Yeah, Ancelotti kind of has his number a little bit here. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ancelotti, I'll also give him an 8. You know, he understood the assignment against this, you know, the best lineup in the world, Man City. And he went there, went to England, you know, got the result that, you know, he wanted and took care of business in that second leg. So,
Another English fan base that's raging right now. It's Arsenal. But how can you? So obviously you are in less than a week. You almost feel like you're out of 2 competitions, right? And we'll get to Premier League talk. But you are out of the. You lose to Bayern 1-0 away, 3-2 aggregate. Do you really? If you're an Arsenal fan, are you sad or are you frustrated because you feel like you could have done more?
As an Arsenal, or like, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I'm rooting for Arsenal so much, man. Like, I really want something to go right for them because, like how you just said, like that must be a devastating blow, you know, losing that over the weekend and wanting to come back, which was a really tight game, man. Like it was pretty back and forth. Bayern had maybe like a little more clear chances, but it's not like Arsenal folded. They were trying. It was just, you know, that goal for that Bayern scored. Kimmich is a baller.
give around the cross and
Yeah.
it was just
That's Rafael Guerreiro, an amazing match. He had such a good match.
He balled out.
And shout out to
Well done.
Tuchel because he didn't have Coman or Gnabry.
Yeah.
So you have to play with the former left back
Yeah,
on
and
the
Sane.
wing.
Yeah.
Sane too.
Yeah, so
Instinct.
and you ended up combining left wing to right back
Yeah.
in the goal, and
it
it was it works. It is, you know, he already won the Champions League with Chelsea, so he has that experience. I don't think he's obviously not favorites against Madrid, but he took care of business at home, and history can be denied, man. If you're Bayern Munich, I had them in my bracket because you can't deny history. You know, they have one. They were underlooked and they were underrated because of Leverkusen's big run in Bundesliga.
Yeah.
But that's not normal. You don't see a team, whether it's Leverkusen, Dortmund, or whatever team you want to call, you don't see that happen every time. Winning the Bundesliga, unbeaten, zero games lost as of now. Obviously, they haven't finished, but that doesn't happen every year. So yeah, you lost the league, but you lost the league to that.
Yeah.
So you can't say that Bayern is not good now because they didn't win the Bundesliga. They're still Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I think another underrated player is Eric Dyer.
Oh,
Hey, he was phenomenal.
you're like prime second round.
He was phenomenal. Wow, he was so good. But yeah, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're definitely disappointed. And I think with 2 players specifically on the Arsenal team, I feel like with Saka and with Gabriel Martinelli, you're disappointed with, especially with those 2. And you know, Saka in the end on that corner kick. What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Yeah, but
So,
before
that on the free kick as well. Why are we playing it short? It's an opportunity at goal. It's a clear opportunity here.
I didn't think it was a bad.
Yeah, I don't think it was
It's
either.
not a horrible
I
one,
think
but I
White should have taken that first touch. I think he
Yeah.
tried to cut in, and that was a bad call.
It's because I feel like that's where it shouldn't have been Ben White making that run.
Yeah,
It should be somebody.
yeah, but at the same time, everyone's just trying to score and
Yeah.
going forward. But I don't think it was a bad decision.
It was not. I
Yeah,
don't,
but
I don't think it was.
the corner kick.
But the
come on.
corner, like, come on. There's no way that we can't even get past the first post.
And
But
it sucks because like Saka, you know, another moment. Obviously, a corner does not compare to like a penalty in the Euro finals, but like another moment where he needs to step up and give a good delivery, and he simply doesn't.
How patient are you as a, you know, you're let's say you're an Arsenal fan. How patient are you with Arteta? Like when do you when is it that when do you think is the time where you start saying, hey, okay, we gotta look at this because we're not when we have to win, we don't get it done.
Honestly, I think I love what Arteta doing at Arsenal. Like that whole like concept of like rebuilding, starting from the literal ground up when everybody was hating, and then now they're like coming up, and I think he should just keep going. In my opinion, I think Arteta needs to stay in Arsenal and really cement his feet in this industry. I mean, in this club, and just can do what a manager's supposed to do. Like that's what I like when managers do. I don't like it when they start hopping teams. I don't like it when there's like
It's about projects.
yeah, it's about projects, about raising these players, building this system, and embedding them into like their brains and into their football. Like, and that's why I think Arteta should just simply stay, keep going at it, and don't stop.
Yeah, I think you keep on trusting the process for sure if you're an Arsenal fan. I think what Arsenal have done, in the last couple of years, they probably would have never expected to do, several years back. So
Yeah.
if you're an Arsenal fan, I think you trust the process and you let Arteta.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I obviously, I'll say you obviously trust the process and maybe even put pressure on the board to bring a couple signings that can break the market.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not easy, but I do feel like Arsenal is lacking that player that kind of like could potentially be the face of not only the team but the Premier League.
Yeah,
Like City has Haaland, and Liverpool, has Salah. Someone like that.
Yeah, I mean for Arsenal, it's probably Leal or bust if we're
Yeah.
being honest.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. So
we'll
let's
see- we'll see
let's
what
get to rankings. You guys want to do Arteta or Tuchel first?
We'll do Arteta first.
Arteta first. Okay. So how do you rank Arteta?
I'm gonna give Mikel a 6.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Mikel, man. Like I love what he's doing. Obviously, y'all could tell. I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm just a Mikel fan, bro. Like because he's like I said, he was talking about the project and the process and stuff like that, and building himself up and his team for these kinds of moments. And like I said earlier, I don't think Arsenal folded. They simply just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net because Bayern was like the better team at the end of the day. But Arsenal did not fold, and I'm giving credit to Mikel.
yeah, I give him. I think I'm also going to give him a 6. I think I'll give him a 6 as well, just because. I mean, it wasn't great in these two legs. I feel like in the second leg, especially, Arsenal didn't really create that many chances. There wasn't really much. Oh, but also for Bayern, I mean, it was, I guess, like you guys said, a fairly contested game. Not a lot going on for either team, but I feel like, when you have someone like Saka, you've got to be doing more there. So I think, Arteta, I'd give him a 6.
Yeah, I'll give them a 6.5 just because I believe that they lost because of the unexperienced players and not from a tactical standpoint.
Yeah.
I really hope that they made a couple mistakes in the first leg that ended up to Bayern scoring 2 goals, and now the goal didn't come off of a mistake, but I still feel like that you could see that some Arsenal players are unexperienced or they lack that European experience, and that's not his fault. So I give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I also feel like Trossard should probably be getting more minutes. So that's why I also can't give him anything higher than a 6.5. And then Gabriel Jesus came on,
Yeah,
not impressed.
I feel like
Not impressed
we,
with the subs.
we as a football talk, everyone in general should start having that talk about Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah,
Because he is a striker, and strikers are supposed to score goals. And then people say, no, he's not a striker. He's a false 9.
Okay.
But he doesn't create. And then they play him in the wing. But he's not a winger. He doesn't have the pace to be a winger.
Yeah.
So he has slowly lost kind of like his magic. And I'm kind of sad because I really liked him at Manchester City. But kind of lost he lost his Brazilian touch.
Yeah, I just feel like Arsenal is not necessarily, or not that it's not the club for him to flourish, but the club is just not in a state where they need him. Because I feel like what he needs to do is be in a starting lineup, cement his feet in a specific position. But right now they're just putting him wherever they need somebody. You know what I mean? So he's not really able to like excel and like make himself a lot better. But I don't think he's a bad player.
Sliding to the semifinalists, Tuchel.
Oh, dude.
I give him a fat 7. I respect him. I respect him because he is a great coach and he has experience. Like he won a Champions League final against Pep Guardiola. That's not an easy thing to
Yeah.
do.
Chelsea.
And with Bayern, like I said, they lost the Bundesliga to a team that had an incredible run. And I do believe this Bayern team can do big things. They're gonna close the series at the Bernabeu, which is not easy. But if you get a fair result in Germany, you may do it.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to come down to. He has to get a positive result in Germany because going into Madrid isn't like anything easy. I'm giving him an 8. I love Thomas. I think he excels in this kind of situation being the underdog. You know, when he won that Champions League when he won that Champions League, he was the underdog. You know, people thought that Man City were going to beat Chelsea, but Chelsea ended up winning. And then I believe he took the PSG to the final. To the final, I think he lost though.
To Bayern.
Yeah, he lost to Bayern.
With
Yeah.
that incredible Neymar and
Yeah.
Mbappe link.
Then he got fired, and I thought it was so unjustified how he got fired.
Made no sense.
Yeah,
It
and
made
then
no sense.
boom into Bayern. I think he's in a perfect situation to be able to turn the tables once again and come on top.
Yeah, I'm giving him a 7.5. You know, I like the team that he has constructed at his time at Bayern. You know, you've got Kimmich, you've got, you know, Eric Dyer, who you've converted into prime Sergio Ramos, you know, as we saw against Arsenal. You have Harry Kane, one of the best nines in the world, obviously. You have Musiala, you know, one of the best young prospects in the world. Goretzka, that's probably the best goalkeeper in the world.
They have a
Neuer.
really good roster.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand how good this
I
roster
mean,
is.
this roster is on their game. They can pretty much beat anybody.
Is Harry Kane finally going to be able to lift a trophy?
Hey, I hope so.
I really hope it doesn't get in the way of Thomas actually. I'm not gonna lie.
But hey, we had that weekend action,
Yeah.
and it's important to look at the domestic leagues because they are, at the end of the day, the competitions where you build something. And what better place to build something than in England, in the English Premier League?
This is that title race. I haven't seen a title race like this between 3 teams. It's so close and so tight, like in so many years. And now, but over the weekend, not only Arsenal are dropping points, but Liverpool are also dropping points. Arsenal losing 2-0 against Aston Villa, and then Liverpool losing 1-0 against Crystal Palace. What do you guys have to say about that?
Ollie Watkins, man, respect to him. Has 19 goals in the Premier League, 0 from the penalty spot,
He has
and
the
he's
most goals contribution.
and he has 10 assists.
Yeah.
It's insane for a team like Aston Villa that won today in the Conference League with Divo Martinez on goal, saving 2 penalties. In
Divo
the
doing Divo.
Yeah, dude, in France. I love how he celebrated in front of the French fans, you know, dancing and stuff. I just love that. And I will say from the Arsenal game, obviously they made rotations, a couple of rotations, but they had chances. They had opportunities and they could have finished. And just Aston Villa is doing so well under Unai Emery that they might end up playing Champions League at some point. Like, maybe not this season, or maybe they will. I don't know if they're gonna be able to get it done against Tottenham, but if they end up playing Champions League, it will be all because of what Unai has been able to construct.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the 3 teams have different types of schedules. I think City definitely has the easiest schedule out of the 3. So, you know, City right now still have to play Brighton, Wolves, Fulham, Spurs away, which is probably going to be their hardest game, and then they close out with West Ham. But then Liverpool still have to go to Everton, and they still have to play Spurs at home. And then for Arsenal still have to play Chelsea, United, and Spurs.
Wow.
So
They definitely
it's,
got the
City definitely has the easiest schedule, but Liverpool doesn't have that tough of a schedule either. So I think it'll probably hopefully be between those 2.
Yeah, for those Premier League fans though, it's kind of good that they're not playing Champions League anymore because they can play with the starters every weekend, which will be nice to see. You know, obviously, if you would have had Manchester City advance, they would have made rotations, and maybe that's how you drop points because that's how Arsenal and Liverpool ended up dropping points.
Yeah.
So just a matter of fixture. You know, Arsenal in a crucial week for the Champions League, they have to do rotations. They're going against Aston Villa. That's such a hard game to get a result on. But it's not looking good for Arsenal. That being said, I am definitely rooting for Arsenal to come back and win this league and prove everybody wrong. Again, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I love these kinds of projects.
Manchester City in the 7th position. what do you guys? What's wrong with Manchester City? I mean, Manchester United. Obviously, everything, but I mean, they're in the seventh position, and if they go anything under that, it will be their worst Premier League finish in history.
Yeah, I mean, just underperformance. I mean, it's the only way you can put it. Bruno Fernandes. I mean, you expect so much more from a guy like Bruno Fernandes. You expect so much more from a guy like Marcus Rashford. You know, you expect more from these guys. You know, these top level players that are at United, and you know, it's disappointing to see. I mean, the positive here is Garnacho. You know, I guess you know if you build around him, you know him and Kobe Mino, you have those two young prospects that you could work around. So you know, there's definitely room here for United to turn it around.
Is it enough for Ten Hag? Do you just scratch him?
That's the biggest question, man. Because I mean, I really like me some projects, and then like yeah, like how you said, like I feel like that's really the only way Manchester United can like achieve. Like they really have to invest in like their youth with the Mainus and the Garnacho and Højlund and
Yep.
like that. That's really gonna be the key to their success. But is Ten Hag the man to do it? They brought him in thinking that he hasn't necessarily showed the results that he has expected from him. So do they get somebody else?
And Chelsea at the ninth position, not even going to play European competitions, most likely. Obviously, they're missing a game or two compared to other teams. But I don't know. I feel like Chelsea, it's more even inconsistent than Man United. You know, Man United has been in control of certain portions of the season. Chelsea just all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, they win by 4 and then they lose by 3. and then they play better when Enzo is not in. But Enzo was like 120 million and then worth, and then Caicedo as well. Sometimes they play well without him. Although I would say the one player that I have to respect from Chelsea is Cole Palmer.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
absolute baller, Cole Palmer. He's probably going to win the Young Player of the Year for the
Definitely.
Prime. Absolutely, there's no debate. It'll be Cole Palmer, phenomenal player. And speaking of Chelsea, they play City in the FA Cup, so that's
This
going to be
weekend.
interesting. Yeah, this
that
weekend.
was yeah.
So that's going to be good.
9 assists for Cole Palmer, 20 goals, 9 from the spot. Talking about Chelsea and the penalty spot.
Oh, you
How
yeah.
ridiculous is that? As a manager, it must be so frustrating. This is like
Yeah.
pit stuff. Like, come on. Like, you know this guy. And something that I read that, you know, triggered me and made me realize how true that was let's say you have a penalty against United in the 90th minute. I doubt none of those players are going to ask for the ball and they're going to let Cole Palmer take it.
Yeah.
Now, when you're up 4-0 and there's a penalty, that's when you say, oh, no,
Now
it's
you wanna
fine.
stat
Let-
that.
Yeah, now you want to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just those stats just show Chelsea have their penalty man, which is like a lot of things that clubs don't have. You know, they
City.
yeah,
It's so
And
important
he's a
to have.
former Manchester
So
City
important
player.
to have.
exactly, and it's just so credit to him. You know, from the spot or not, man, whatever, bro. You're scoring goals in the Premier League, bro. Like that's enough for me.
Yep.
But I mean that is the Premier League. The title race is close, but you know what? Title race is absolutely not close because it actually already ended.
Oh, okay.
Is the Bundesliga?
Yeah.
The Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen.
Getting it done.
11 years of Bayern's winning streak. They put an end to that.
Yeah. I mean, and what a way to do it. You know, like if you've been watching this game for a long time, like you know Xabi Alonso as a player, you found out that he was like, okay, becoming a manager. Okay, he's managing Leverkusen right now. Wait, what do you mean they haven't lost a game this entire season?
29 games played in Bundesliga, 25 wins, 4 ties, 0 losses, plus 55 goal difference.
16-point lead.
That's insane. That is unbelievable. And like I said, this is about Bayern Leverkusen winning, not about Bayern Munich losing.
Yeah.
There is a difference, guys. This is just insane. And shout out to Xavi. I mean, and what I love the most about him is that, you know, when there is going to be so many like rumors and stuff about him over, you know, the next few days and months about, oh, Klopp is leaving. He might go to Liverpool because he played in Liverpool. He said, no, I'm staying. Like, I'm going to play Champions League with this team.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
No, yeah, super respect
Yeah.
for Xavi.
Gotta give a big shout out to Florian Wirtz, though.
Oh, yeah.
What a baller. I mean, getting it done and scoring that golazo in that last game. But throughout the season, I mean, he's been phenomenal. Not just for them, but also for the German national team. He's going to be an absolute baller at the Euros this summer. So we'll definitely be looking out
Now,
for him.
if you're a Bundesliga executive and you have to give a Player of the Season award, do you go for Harry Kane's 32 goals or do you stick to a Leverkusen?
The story of
Yeah.
Florian Wirtz. And
I think you have to stick to someone.
I think so too. Just to because it's an incredible story, right? I mean, with how much dominance Bayern has in this league. When someone else wins the league, it was 11 years, since someone else had done this. So amazing for Leverkusen. First trophy since '93.
And it was hilarious to see fans like when the game
flooding
was not
the
even
field.
over.
The game wasn't even over.
And they were just jumping. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
It's just
That was awesome.
it's just being able to celebrate
Yeah.
in your city, in
Saw
your
the players
place.
celebrating with the fans on the field. It was very cool. I'm happy for Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, and they are still running in
in the Europa.
in the Europa
got it
League.
done.
They ended up tying against West Ham in the second leg, won, and they advanced to I think semifinals.
Yeah, I think it was like 4-2 aggregate ended up being. I think
Three. No, I think it's 3-1. They won 2-0.
2-0?
2-0 in the first leg.
So second leg. So overall, it ended 3-1.
Yeah.
So goal for Frimpong, maybe.
Yeah. Now, let's say they already won Bundesliga. I think they're in the final of the German Cup. If they win the Europa League, how unbeaten, like haven't lost a match, how big is that? And is that bigger than winning a treble with the Champions League?
Honestly, like it's just like it's not even about the treble with the Champions League versus the treble with the Europa League. Like if it was that, then the Champions League treble is obviously better. But just the story with Leverkusen, the fact that they haven't lost, beating Bayern in the Bundesliga, if they get it done in the Europa, like this has contenders to be one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen. Not one of the greatest teams we've ever seen, but one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen. Period. In terms of football, in terms of what it means to everything. I think that we got to give all of the amount of credit to Leverkusen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Leverkusen, no easy task for them in the semifinal. They'll be playing Roma in the semifinal, so it'll be interesting to see that. But if they can get this treble, I mean, it'll be the greatest year in their club's history without a doubt, and it'll be remembered, forever because of how like Leverkusen. When you think Leverkusen, you don't think of treble seasons.
Yeah.
So what Xabi Alonso has done so far.
Yeah, their first title in 120 years. Now, a question popped up to me. What's more impressive? Leverkusen winning Bundesliga without losing a match, or the 2016 Leicester winning the Prem? What's more impressive?
I'm gonna go Leicester. Just because of
It's just no one had it on their.
No one. But Leverkusen, you could at least kind of call it. Not still kind of crazy. It was still a hot take at the beginning of the year, obviously, but you could kind of see it forming with Xabi Alonso and Wirtz and Frimpong and everything coming together. But Leicester, you had a guy like Jamie Vardy up top who was 25 playing in the lower leagues of England. And,
They also had Kante, young Kante,
had a young Kante that not a lot of people knew about. You had Mahrez.
Yeah, so I think the Leicester winning is more impressive.
Yeah.
But I think if they win the treble, they have a better season.
Oh yeah,
Then Leicester.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like Leicester.
Leicester went to Champions League the year after. Didn't do great at all.
Yeah, it's the thing about Leicester is like there's so much history behind that. Coming up from the ranks.
It's almost like a career mode in FIFA.
Literally, and then they just win the Premier League. And Jamie Vardy breaking goal scoring records.
Scores 11 games in a row, breaks the record.
Like
That's crazy.
That's the kind of stuff you'll never forget.
Yeah,
And that's a good question. I'm not gonna lie. Leverkusen versus 2016 Leicester, like in terms of better season.
Now there is another impressive stuff that we have. Also, Real Madrid advancing, Barcelona losing. We have La Liga race, and is this over? If Madrid wins, I think it is.
Yeah.
If Barcelona wins, do you still think they have a chance if they make it a 5-point difference?
I'll be honest, no, probably not, because Real Madrid's upcoming matches after Barcelona are Sociedad, Cádiz, Granada, Deportivo Alaves, Villarreal, Betis. and then that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't see Real Madrid dropping any points.
Yeah, they do have to make rotations, obviously, for Champions League. They already confirmed that their game before playing the first leg, I believe, against Bayern, got moved from a Saturday to a Friday.
Yeah.
Obviously, La Liga helping out Madrid. How rare. But, I mean, you know what frustrated me as a Barca fan? You obviously, mentally, you're not okay because you just lost to PSG. But when you're supposed to regroup and go to Madrid and try to get something, there's the inside the locker room you have something breaking apart.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to stay strong and stay together. And I just feel like whether you go to Madrid and win, because obviously Real Madrid play 120 minutes and they look really really tired.
Yeah.
Like even if you take the dog, you're not going to win the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really hard for Madrid to drop the amount of points they need to, and for us to not drop any points at all, for us to even try to get a chance to the title. But
Yeah, Barca definitely has the tougher games as well. They still have to go to Sevilla and they still have to go to Girona as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And talking about La Liga, the top goal scorer is Dojvic at Girona with 17 goals. And when you look at the people who are at the top of the goal scoring list, you have Lewandowski with 13 goals.
yeah, it's
That
crazy
just
for a while.
that just speaks. Obviously, he has been out, like you said, but that just speaks about Barcelona's level in this La Liga run.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, since the beginning of the season, we had like a good start, and I just knew that it wasn't going to be this year. The Champions League was an undeserved pleasure ride for a while until it wasn't. That's what I'll call it. But in terms of La Liga, it's tough, man. And so, what do y'all think is next for Xavi? Like, do you think his chapter with Barcelona is over?
Yeah,
I think it's 100% gone at the end of the season. Where he could go is a debate. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know where he could even go.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna take a year off to spend with his family.
Yeah.
After that, I'm sure he will wait for a project where he can develop. I don't think he will go to something like Saudi Arabia or MLS. I think he will stay in Europe for something smaller. I have a feeling that he will go outside of Spain just because of how the Spanish media treats Xavi.
Yeah.
And something that I find so interesting is how confident and how free Luis Enrique and Guardiola feel outside of Spain with the Spanish media. When you see Luis Enrique and Guardiola talk with Henry and Abdo in the Champions League pre and post match shows, like you can see the nature of them. Whereas when they speak with a Spanish journalist, they feel like tight and they feel like frustrated because they know that whatever they say, they're gonna take it out of context, and everything is about how it impacts Madrid and how bad you are to Madrid,
Yeah.
and it's just weird.
Yeah, it's just not a good situation. I mean, it's not even Xavi's fault, man. It's just the media pushing him out. But I think he's got to go somewhere where he can be a little bit under the radar. He can really nurture his skills and develop his footballing philosophy. And then in 10, 15 years, come back to Barca. Why not?
Yeah.
Try it again.
Gain the experience and then come back because Xavi, you are still an icon of the club.
100%.
You're still part of our batch, and you cannot say anything bad about Xavi because he came in without experience and did as much as he could.
He did what nobody else wanted to do.
Yep.
It was right here, right now situation. Even if he wasn't ready, he's like, I'm gonna throw myself in the fire.
And that's the type of guys that I want on my club all the time. The type of dudes that stand up when no one else wants.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was also action in North America this week. This weekend. Speaking of Clásicos, we had Rayados Tigres, Guillermo.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
It was-
Crazy game, man. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but saw the highlights, saw the stats, and I was like, wow, how did Rayados not win this game?
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Honestly, it was absolutely insane. It really was. Tigres Rayados was never a soft day, a normal day for me whatsoever. And just watching that game, Rayados just looking like the better team the entirety of the first half, and then Tigres comes in and scores off of a counter. Okay, all right, it's not looking that good. And then again at the beginning of the second half, Another pretty good goal, good pass from Gignac. Well, we were able to turn it around. Good performances from Canada. Yeah, I really hope he plays for the Mexico national team. I'm not gonna lie, because that's a position we've been wanting to nurture and to bring up, and I think Gerardo Thiago Rayos have been good.
Is Rayados and Tigres a bigger derby than Americas and Guadalajara?
Technically, you could no. Technically, no.
To
Technically,
you.
oh, to me, yes.
Oh yeah.
But you in Liga MX, that's crowned as super clásico.
Yeah.
Like that is we're a clásico regio. We're not there yet, but it's not gonna be like that for much longer. That's all I'll say. That's all I'm gonna say.
I feel like lately I've heard so much more about El Clásico Regio rather than America and Chivas.
Yeah, and just the last thing I want to talk about the Clásico is that there was this whole. I want to hear you guys' opinion on it too.
Mm-hmm.
There was this whole, just whole, reaction of the game because they added 8 minutes of extra time.
Yeah,
and then they ended up going for 10 minutes of extra time. And
I saw that Real scored in the 10th minute.
In the last kick of the game.
Yeah.
It goes ninth with 58 seconds, something like that. And the reason why they added those extra minutes is because Tigres players were making time. The keeper, he was on the floor at times. There was other players that were on the floor, which I understand and stuff like that. But the one side of the coin was Dita was saying that the referee extending this amount of time and letting it roll out, even though he said +8, letting it to 10 is ruining the league. Well, and from my perspective, the Tigres players, because they were trying to buy time since the 70th minute. They were constantly buying time the entire second half.
Yeah.
And then they were doing it again in the extra time. And to me, that is what ruins the game. Because I can understand the buying time, but Liga MX has a horrible problem with that. So what do you guys think is a fair conversation?
I think at the end of the day, it's the ref making the call. I do think that if you have players, wasting time from the 70th minute, you need to pick those things up and put an end to it. And at the end of the day, have control over it. We saw it in the 2022 World Cup, how ref added so much time. And I think it's the right call. And honestly, if FIFA or any league wants to do anything about it, they have to not only speak to the clubs, but they have to make changes to the rule to maybe do that where they want to stop the time when the ball goes out and stuff like that. And I don't think that will be a bad call, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I feel like if players are wasting time, going on the ground, diving around, falling, taking their time when picking up the ball on goal kicks and things like that, then yeah, you have it coming. I feel like, and I feel like it's the right call from the ref if that is what happens throughout the game. I as a Honduras fan, you remember that game right against Mexico, that second leg, we were doing all that, time wasting very early on. It's so a situation like that.
Yeah.
If something like that, is happening throughout the game, then yeah, I feel like you have it coming.
Now, I need to hear from you. What's your opinion on Nahuel Guzman? Because I heard something about a laser or something that he was pointing.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
He had he had a laser pointer, and fans have laser pointers pointing at players. He was doing that. And honestly, that's kind of funny. It's also because Nahuel is that player. I don't know if y'all know exactly how he acts, but he's that player.
I saw it in the final against America.
Oh my god, he's that player that if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not, you hate him.
It's kind of like Dibu Martinez.
Yeah, it's exactly like Dibu Martinez.
It's something
which says a great value.
Yeah, he's from he's Argentine.
He's Argentine.
Right? Yeah, so it's something about keepers from Argentina that they're just crazy, man. It's something about the water in Argentina or something. What they're feeding them because they are crazy. But we also had crazy action in the U.S. and here in Houston. Tell us about it.
The Houston Dynamo got it done in Minnesota. I mean, look, MVP of the game, undoubtedly Steve Clark. Get it out of the way. I mean, Steve Clark, wow. Phenomenal performance from him. So in the last minute, Minnesota had a chance off a corner, and he made a spectacular save. It was coming across to the back post, and he extended his arm. It was crazy. It was a crazy save. But yeah, Sebastian Kowalczyk with the goal to give us the win. Yeah, this is by Bossy.
Yeah,
Bossy with the good press in the midfield got that ball to Sebastian and a really good finish. Big game for them this weekend against Austin FC. It's the Texas Derby. It's the newer Texas Derby.
Yeah.
If you even want to call it the Texas Derby, I don't know that. But yeah, regardless, it's a rivalry. Austin's in town this weekend. The Dynamo will be looking to get that win. Achin. We could see him return this weekend. So
Yeah. I mean, we'll be creating content. Stay
Yeah.
tuned on that. We'll be attending
if
that.
you guys see us this weekend, holler at
Yeah.
us. We will be there.
But I have to say, shout out to Houston Dynamo for renewing Ben Olsen's contract.
Oh,
Because they
yeah.
are third in their conference, and there's four. They have played 7 games, won 4, tied 1, lost 2, and that's just he's a great manager.
I know.
I said it from the first match that when I saw the Dynamo this season, I don't care what happens, Dynamo is still a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
We possess the ball, we move the ball, we
Yeah.
play good soccer,
Yeah.
and now we're getting the results with 2 DPs off.
Yeah, that's like the most important part. We don't have our DPs, and we're playing some beautiful football right now.
Mhm.
Like I love Sebastian Kowalczyk. Like you can just tell that guy's an absolute baller. You can just tell he's got that European experience. Him and Amine Bassi connecting. I love it. Like there was like an interview and he was talking about like how he just loves playing tiki taka, and I just love that about this team that is going. That's the reason why Ben also got extended, because he's doing so good. And without these DPs, there's been a couple of like unsung heroes that have been risen up to the spot. Like Sebastian is one of them. I really like Jan Grey Goose. He's been I like him.
He was a
midfield
great
whenever he
signing.
plays.
Yeah.
But this match against Austin FC, crowd is always packed. Game is
Yeah, it's going
always
to be
there.
good. Austin FC is going to bring their crowd.
Yeah, they're not
be
doing
good.
as good. They are.
Yeah, they're struggling this
Yeah,
season.
they're 2, 3, and 3.
Which is crazy considering the start of the franchise that they had.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
you know?
first year that they had was
they
unreal.
have a really nice stadium, Q2, which
Which state?
I will be attending this summer for Copa America action, Venezuela versus Jamaica. Now, we also had another match in MLS,
Yep.
which was incredible.
Yep.
Inter Miami played in Kansas City against 70.
At Arrowhead
Yeah,
Stadium.
that was
was
unbelievable.
incredible. Yeah, amazing game. Golazo.
Oh,
That was
Messi, by the
man.
greatest.
goal of the week
Nah,
by
Yeah.
the GOAT.
I did go. Phenomenal goal. But Sweaty Kansas City fought. They fought. They were gonna allow Messi to just go to Kansas City, go to their home, and just take over.
How success? How can we determine what a successful season is for Inter Miami? Is it winning MLS, going to the playoffs, doing something in CONCACAF Champions Cup, which they're already eliminated?
Yeah.
Winning the Kings Cup again,
the league.
yeah, the League's Cup,
League's Cup.
whatever they invented. What's a successful season for Inter Miami?
I think just winning the league. I'm sorry, but when you have Messi, you have Suarez, you have Jordy Alba, you have
Okay.
Busquets, you have all these tools.
You're
Not
tough. You're strict.
You have to win it. I'm
Okay.
sorry, it's as simple as this. I think with the amount of superstars that you have on your team and the experience and the knowledge and all of these things combined, you have to get it done.
Honestly, in terms of, I'm not even gonna answer as a footballing standpoint. I'm gonna just be realistic right now. I feel like Inter Miami's expectations is not to win. Like their expectations is to create revenue. Like
It's a business.
Yeah.
Maybe theirs is not, but from a fan perspective,
no, yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
But from theirs, yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from.
I just feel like obviously I'm not from Miami. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like there's no sense of urgency, or there's not even been much talk in terms of like, will Miami win with Messi, Suarez, Busquets, and Jordi Alba? Like, I just think they're putting them on a pedestal regardless if they win or lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And those players have earned that. Obviously, the league also plays a part because
yeah.
when you have these kind of players, you definitely want to put that image out there to make more money off of it. But I do feel like people need to understand that Inter Miami didn't make the playoffs last year. And this year, I think that a successful season is having a long run in the playoffs. Like, you may win or lose, but I think just having a long enough run in the playoffs, it can be called a success for Inter Miami.
Yeah, they're currently top of the East.
They have
Tied
one
on
more
points
game.
with the Red Bulls. They do have one more game, but they are up on goal differential. But
And it's a weird team. They have won 4, lost 2.
yeah,
Messi is not at 100% physically, so it's strange. I think Tata Martino has some things to do in the club because he needs to figure it out what your game plan is, and you need to have a plan A, a plan B, because you never know when Messi's gonna be off.
Yeah, and I mean that's just like backfire that you have against getting all these superstar old guys that are retiring is just if they're frail, bro. Like, I mean, I know Suarez has been balling and stuff, but they're just gonna get injured at one point. Messi got injured, he's coming back, or he came back, and it's that's just what gonna come down to. If Miami really want to build off of this momentum with the franchise, because once these players retire, are Miami gonna go back to being just another club, or are they gonna try to keep on going after this momentum? You know, that's the real question.
Yeah, I'm talking about Messi. He's from Argentina. Keep in mind that this weekend, unfortunately, they are playing at the same time as El Clasico, the Spanish Clasico, but there's going to be a Boca River, which to me, that's my favorite derby in the whole world. Because I am a Barca fan and I love seeing a good Clasico between Madrid and Barcelona, but there is nothing like Argentine passion. But Boca versus River, it's the people from the hood against the people with money. It's like it's a cultural thing. A lot of people don't understand how big this is. It's going to be awesome because they're going to play at a neutral side because it's for a Copa and not for La Liga. So
is this a final?
No, it's like the first playoff game.
Oh,
This
okay.
quarterfinals.
Okay.
So yeah, and they're gonna
already.
play. Yeah. So they're gonna play in a neutral position.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure where in the country. They haven't said what it is yet, but it will be interesting to see that as well.
Is it 2 legs?
It's just one leg,
Just
and a
one
neutral
game?
side. And you have so obviously people in Argentina are so crazy that you cannot have visitors fans
Yeah, no.
in the
Yeah.
stadiums for La Liga, but with the club they do allow visitors, and that's why they move the games to a neutral position. So it's going to be crazy. I'm ready to see those videos, and let's go for Boca Juniors. I am a Boca fan.
Yeah, so I mean that's all we got for today.
Yeah,
but
no, we got one more
before-
thing before we go. We're introducing a little game. We'll be trying to do this once in a while, or maybe every episode. You guys let us know whether you guys like it or not. I have a baller for you guys to guess. Okay.
you close my laptop. You close my
Okay.
laptop.
So yeah, this is not scripted. I am the only person who knows who the player is. I'm gonna tell you a player he has played with.
Yeah.
You know, it can be from the same club, or from a former club, or from the national team. You can either skip or guess.
Or try to guess.
You only have 5 guesses. Are you guys ready?
Okay, wait. How's
5 guesses per or 5 guesses as a team. Like me and Guillermo.
What do you
together.
guys want?
Because I was gonna say, because you had mentioned earlier that we could compete against each other, but I feel like we can work together on this one.
Okay.
We'll work together on this
So
one.
okay, you guys want to work together? So it's
Yeah.
only 5 guesses.
That's okay.
We'll work together on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
So the player that you guys are guessing for, the baller that you guys are trying to find, has played with Chouameni.
Okay, that's so.
you can take a rip here because it's just
that's so broad.
He's
so it's everything.
Yeah, he's young.
It can mean so many things.
It's the first. It's
Yeah,
the first.
it's the
one.
first
So you
guess.
guys can skip if you don't want to
Okay,
take
no,
that.
I mean, well,
Why not? You don't lose anything.
if you skip, does that count as a guess?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're not gonna skip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just throw it out there. Luka Modric.
He's not Luka Modric.
Okay.
The player that you guys are looking for, has played with Saliba from Arsenal.
Saliba and Chouameni.
Saliba and Chouameni. You know, you got
So
a
it could be French.
French.
It
You
almost.
got Prem. You got La Liga. French guy.
It's gotta be French.
I think I'm leaning towards French as well.
Okay, you guys are not far away from this one.
No, it's just gotta be like it's probably from the newer generation.
Newer generation.
You know?
Could be like a Griezmann. Could be like a Kylian. Kylian might be too broad though for this game, no? It
But it could also be so
it could
obvious.
be so obvious. It's one of
I'm
those.
sure.
I'm down to guess Mbappe. I'm okay with guessing Mbappe.
We'll just throw Mbappe in there.
Mbappe?
Throw-
It's not Mbappe.
Okay.
Okay, so you have Chouameni, you have Saliba, you also have Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva, the Brazilian captain. To me, he's underrated. He has an extraordinary career.
Chouameni.
He has played in big clubs.
When did? Because Thiago Silva left PSG like a while.
Like a 20.
Nah. He left like 20. Like, when Chelsea won, he was already there. I think that was his first season. I want to say.
I'm nice enough that I'm gonna read his career to you.
No. I mean, okay.
He starts in Brazilian clubs. Then he goes to Dynamo Moscow in Russia in 2005. Fluminense on loan 2006. And then he plays for Fluminense like an actual signing from 2007 to 2009. Then he goes to AC Milan from 2009 to 2012.
Okay.
And he goes to PSG in 2012 till 2020. And he is now in Chelsea.
Yeah.
2020 till present.
I think it's got to be a French guy.
It was a French guy that was
In
like
PSG.
it's part of the newer generation that was at PSG during his build-up.
I'm just trying to think like if there's any Chelsea players, like any French Chelsea players that were like
that were
overlooked completely. But
and Golo is the only one that maybe I could think of.
Golo, I mean, I don't know if Chouameni
I
played
don't know
with
if
Golo.
Chouameni or
You know what I mean?
Saliba.
I can give you another player.
No, we're thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll say this. This guy, once I say his name, you're gonna be like, damn, I knew it because it's obvious, but it's not.
Okay.
He's out there. You guys know who he is. He is a baller, in my opinion.
I feel like okay. Is it
Take a rip, bro. If
Saint
you-
Maximum?
It's not Timex.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You
Let's
guys
just guess.
only have two more guesses. So he has played with Chouameni, he has played with Saliba, he has played with Thiago Silva, and he has played with Guardiola. From the Croatian guy from
Yes,
Manchester
guy from
City who
Man City.
scored a banger against Real Madrid in the first leg of the Champions League. So remember, they could have played in former clubs or the
Yeah.
national team, or they may be playing together right now.
Okay, so we have Guardiola, Saliba, Chouameni,
And Thiago
Thiago
Silva.
Silva.
Try to make connections between the clubs. You know what clubs? You know, Chouameni, Madrid, and I think he came from either Monaco. You know, Saliba, Arsenal, Thiago Silva, PSG, Chelsea. He's from Brazil. Guardiola. He's Croatian. He played for Leipzig, right? Yeah, he played for Leipzig, and he is playing for Manchester City
I
right
know
now.
who it is. Alright.
You can guess because I already guessed and I was wrong.
Do you want to guess Mukiele? Or
I-
who did you have?
I was gonna guess Nkuku.
Gunku?
Yeah.
Let's go in Gunku.
But wait, because
No, because
Thiago Silva, no, Thiago Silva Chelsea, and then
no, it can't. I don't think it can be Mukiele. So I think it could be Nkunku because Chelsea, and then you have Nkunku with Guardiola at Leipzig.
yeah, and then Chelsea Thiago Silva and then French.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes, when
Oh, wait, Nkunku.
You guys got.
Let's go!
Let's go!
I said Mukiele for a second, man, and then I was like,
That was
Chelsea?
good.
I was like, okay, no, never
I
mind.
will say this: when I was making this one up, I didn't want to make it too easy because I will be forcing you guys to the limit. No pain, no gain. I will be putting tough players out there.
I like that.
Yeah, but the last player was Olmo. I think you guys would have gone
Olmo?
it right because Olmo because he plays for Leipzig right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you guys would have figured that one out. It's just weird because Nkunku has been out for so many months that you forget about those kind of players. You know, that's what I said. Like it's a player that once I say his name, you're gonna be like, "That's right." Like,
Yeah.
it makes so much sense. But hey, that's a wrap for us today. Thank you for watching. We gave you so much content. We love you guys. Please, if you see us at the Austin Dynamo game here in Houston, say something. And anything else you guys want to share?
Yeah, hit us up on our socials. You can follow me on Instagram at JordyReyes9, Twitter at JordyReyes34. I'm trying to get rid of the numbers, but for now, that is where I am. That is where you can hit me up. Guillermo, where can they hit you up?
GLR Broadcasting on Twitter, and then just straight up Guillermo Lanza Romero on Instagram.
Vicente, where can they find you?
You can only find me on Instagram and Twitter. I don't have TikTok. I'm not that type of guy. But you can find me at vicente.car.m or VGM091102. We will also leave those in our bio, so feel free if you can't remember, if you're not that type of person, just go out there and take a look. We're also on Spotify. If you want to just If you don't want to look at our ugly faces and just listen to us, feel free to do it on Spotify. And that's it for today.
But indeed, tune in to the YouTube because we do have not even just the YouTube, but the TikTok and the Twitter and the Instagram at Hay Arquero on every platform. We will be doing different kinds of content. We're going to be doing content of the Dynamo game. Going to be doing like a vlog type of thing at the game. So make sure to tune in to all that stuff.
And we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We will be looking for you. We will ask questions to you guys because at the end of the day, nothing we say makes sense if you are not there to respond.
Yep. Until next time, that is going to do it for us. Peace.